I gotta take another drink. Real. Here we go. Welcome to my channel. I am the History Buff, and this is a momentous occasion, a little bit frightening to be honest with you, because this is my first ever YouTube video that I've ever made, and I have a ton of good ideas for this channel. I can't do reaction videos because as of this moment right now, I literally have 0 followers. Everybody knows good reactions come from great recommendations and things like that. I thought, finally, what better way to start than with the entire reason I'm even doing this? Because 2 years ago, Nightwish kicked me down this YouTube rabbit hole, I guess you could say. Before Nightwish, I didn't even have a YouTube account. I had no reason to comment on videos, to like videos, to share videos. I didn't know what a reactor was. I mean, I did, but not like a people reactor. But after watching, you guessed it, Ghost Love's score, I don't know, I realized that there were reaction videos. I found myself for like a week straight staying up till 3 in the morning watching Nightwish reaction videos, and I thought I was going crazy, to be honest with you. And then I saw a couple people comment, "Oh my god, it's 2 in the morning, I can't believe I'm still up." And I thought, okay, maybe this is a thing, and I'm not completely crazy. And I think I get it as to why reaction videos are so popular, especially during COVID. I think when there's something that you love so much and you just want to share it with other people, and especially now you can't really go to concerts. You go to concerts, you're sharing your music with other people who love what you love. But it's really hard right now. And with reaction videos, you're able to actually relive that moment that you experienced it for the first time. And I wish I could have videotaped my first experience, because I just remember being in my office at work and I was yelling and hollering and I just couldn't believe what I was watching. This is for Nightwish. We're going to talk about the 3 things I love about Nightwish. And this is going to be a pattern throughout my channel. I plan on doing everything in 3s for the most part. I think it's easy, because all good things come in 3s, right? Usually. So let's get started. So once you get all the easy and obvious things out of the way, you know, the incredibly talented musicians, how very tight they are together when they play, the epic shows, the fireworks, the pyrotechnics, all of that amazing stuff. And of course, let's not forget lots and lots of floorgasms. Well, now that we got all that obvious stuff out of the way, let's talk about the first thing that I really love about Nightwish. That is, they defy musical convention. There's a reason my wife doesn't like a lot of the music that I like. Her ears are more suited for that go verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, end kind of song that our ears are kind of programmed to listen to and accept as normal music, right? Meanwhile, all my favorite bands had something really unique about either the way they were set up or the way they wrote their music. For example, Ben Folds 5. It was a bass, guitar, drums, and a grand piano. I mean, like, who does that, right? And then you had Cracker. It was another one of my favorite bands. It was actually an alternative band, but the lead guitarist was a incredibly talented country guitarist, so it provided a little bit of a country twang to the sound. And then of course bands like Pink Floyd and Tool just really went off the rails with playing just really long ethereal sets. Same thing with Jane's Addiction. So these were just my favorite bands growing up. So it seems I was always drawn to that just kind of odd and unique style of music. So of course I had no idea what I was in store for when I clicked that little thumbnail for Wacken 2013 Ghost Love score. But of course, the moment I heard this, See, I'm a drummer, and that little lost beat, that time signature switch, really locked into me. And that was all. That was it. And it turns out they do that quite a bit in some of their other songs. Tuomas will mess with the time signature. One of the first things that comes to mind is Song of Myself, where Jukka continues to play through the measure, basically with an 8 count, while the rest of the band is playing on a 7 count. And time signatures isn't the only thing Tuomas messes with when he's writing. There's also some kind of odd chord progressions, and honestly, I wouldn't know that if I wasn't watching some of the other. There's a couple of composer reactors out there that bring that stuff to light, and really, it's just an explanation for why my brain likes it for the most part. So, for the sake of time, let's move on to the second reason I love Nightwish, and that is the fact that Tuomas eats, sleeps, breathes music. This man is music incarnate for the most part. I imagine there's some people who go to the studio, who play gigs, and when the day is over, they're done with music, right? They do other things, but I don't think that ever happens for Tuomas. I don't think music ever shuts off in his mind. When you and I look at a sunset or a tree or another person, that's what we see for the most part. But I imagine he sees chords and progressions and melodies and things in nature around him, which is truly amazing. And I imagine he falls into just a minority of people out there who have that kind of brain. And it truly is inspirational. One of my favorite lines from the songs, and I use it quite a bit, is, well, it's a little bit out of order, but when you have such oceans within, search for beauty and find your shore. Tuomas is one of those individuals that has deep oceans of emotion within him. And that's something that I'm not a very emotional person, so that's hard for me to understand, but I can at least appreciate it. And appreciate the fact that he absolutely needs music for that outlet. I mean, for the love of God, the man committed musical suicide with the song Poet in the Pendulum. He uses music to digest the emotions that are around him. And you see that passion in his music. You see it on his face when he is playing a show. And part of me actually wonders and worries how he's doing without that outlet right now. I mean, I know he's got projects and things like that going on, but for somebody who absolutely needs music as an outlet, just keep him in your thoughts, and hope that he's doing well through all this mess that's going on. And he puts every ounce of himself into every single thing that he writes. You may have your favorite member in the band, but let's face it, he is Nightwish. And even though the other members have such amazing talent, they're really nothing more than just the paintbrushes that he uses to make his masterpiece. So that was an easy one, right? Let's move on to number 3. The third reason I love Nightwish, and if you watch any more of my videos, you're going to see a theme in the fact that I love themes. I love when art and other things just end up forming a theme. And you definitely see major themes come to light in all of the works that Tuomas creates. Of course, the individual albums tend to have their own themes, and I'm not incredibly familiar with things in the Tarja era. I'm gonna happily admit. So if there is honestly any reaction videos, any requests you might have, maybe something from the Tarja era might be good. Of course, I'm familiar with the stuff from Wacken that Floor does, but that's something that I would eventually like to get to know a little bit more of. But from what I can gather, a lot of those albums had a lot more fantasy type themes in them. Things like spirits and mythical creatures and things like that. And then you get into Dark Passion Play, and let's face it, that was basically a breakup letter to Tarja in album form, right? So there's a theme behind that album. Then with Imaginarium, there's a theme talking about mortality and basically the question of whether or not people are going to remember who he is, people are going to remember his works. And that's actually something that a lot of very brilliant writers throughout history, when they start to get midway through their career, they start to write about these things. And the person that comes to mind is Geoffrey Chaucer, where he started writing a lot of things about how does man find fame, and do their works actually make it down into history and do people actually remember them, and then therefore they achieve immortality. So we see a little bit of that. There's questions of sanity and dementia and things like that. And then, of course, moving on to Endless Forms Most Beautiful, well, that's kind of a no-brainer. The entire thing is all about evolution and basically the theories of Charles Darwin and Richard Dawkins. In fact, the title of the album, Endless Forms Most Beautiful, is a direct quote from Charles Darwin's book. I got it right here, The Origin of Species, and it's the very last sentence of the book. And of course, we've heard Richard Dawkins say this at some of the live shows. But from so simple a beginning, endless forms most beautiful and most wonderful have been and are being evolved. Right? So straight from the book here. Then, of course, there's human nature, which, just like it sounds, talks about man's relationship with nature. It uncovers some of the maybe the uglier sides of man and the beautiful sides of nature and how we reconcile that difference. Now, of course, it's really neat that all the albums have their own themes to them. But what I find even maybe even more interesting is that you see a theme throughout basically Tuomas's entire career. So in the beginning, you know, again, fantasy things, mythology. Again, I may be wrong. Let me know if I'm missing something there. Maybe there are some deeper themes involved. But so you started out with things that maybe children tend to think about on a regular basis, stories and fantasies and things like that. Then as we get into the Annette era, there's a lot more introspection going on, where Tuomas is actually looking at himself, right, and at interpersonal relationships and things like that. Then we move on and we get even more mature, because now he's looking like outside of himself at the earth and other life forms and just the beauty that lies within all of that. And then it even goes a step further, and now he takes humanity and tries to reconcile it to nature. So it's really just a neat theme running all throughout. And I'm about to get a little bit controversial here. I mean, I even find a theme with the three singers, personally. Now, God, Nightwish Army, please don't come and spear me through the gut with this one. But think about it. Think about it a second. So it's almost as if Tarja was the high school sweetheart, right? The one that you're in love with from a very young age. And I'm not insinuating in any way, shape, or form that Tuomas had any kind of, romantic relationships with any of the singers at all. But it kind of represents the same thing. Maybe not just the singer, but also the music in general. But so Tarja is like the high school sweetheart that you've loved forever. You just kind of get used to her being around, and then obviously things start to fall apart. Then Annette is the rebound. I don't want to say the rebound girlfriend, but she's the rebound, right? She's the one who helps you egg your ex's house, right? Helps you just get over your initial love. And usually rebounds don't care. I mean, they know that you're not really into them, that it's not really about them, and you're busy thinking about your high school sweetheart. So Annette just kind of seems like the rebound. And then finally, when the smoke cleared from all of that, Flora is just his soulmate, I guess you can say. Just the way those relationships worked. Again, that's probably I should probably edit this part of the video, because this might kill it. But I think it's interesting to think about. And I'm not trying to badmouth Annette. I love Annette. She's Imaginarium, in fact, is probably my favorite album. You know, she doesn't have the skills that Flora does, and they're all amazing. Flora's amazing. I know Tarja is amazing. I'm just not as familiar with some of those live shows back then. So there you have it. Those are my 3 reasons why I love Nightwish. And if you made it this far, congratulations. You've made it almost to the end of my very first video. And please, my fellow ranks in the Nightwish Army, if you have your own, and I'm sure you do, your own reasons why you love Nightwish, and of course I can only cover so much in one video. Please share them in the comments. I'd be really interested to see, and maybe I'll even do a sequel of some of the best ones that I see. Never know. And if you even slightly like what you saw, I promise I think I'm going to get more comfortable as time goes on, but if you like what you saw, please like and subscribe to the video. And I promise you I'm going to have a lot more content coming down the pike. As far as reaction videos go, those look like a blast. I would really love to kind of become a part of that. I'm the kind of guy where I get into music and I listen to the same album for 6 months straight. So because of that, I have a lot of bands that I really like, but I'm missing out on a lot of other bands too that I just haven't really heard. So just a quick rundown for those of you who might be giving me some recommendations. I much appreciate that. But of course I'm familiar with Nightwish. Maybe some Taria era stuff might be good. I'm the history buff, right? So I'm thinking Sabaton would be perfect. I don't know anything about Sabaton. I know two things about Sabaton. Number one, the drummer is with Floor Jansen, and they have a daughter together named Freya, I believe. And number two, I guess their theme is historical battles, which, yeah, but I've never watched any of it. Like, I never have. I don't know why, but that might be cool. I could research some stuff and, you know, maybe do some solid stuff. I haven't watched any baby metal. I know that's a popular one, but I do like Bandmade. I'm very familiar with Unleash the Archers. In fact, the next two videos, three things that I love, are probably going to be Unleash the Archers and Falling in Reverse. But yeah, for the sake of time, probably better wrap it up. So thank you for watching. And again, if you like what you saw, make sure you subscribe. And I hope to see you guys in the future.